Good morning, friends. Today we'll continue with our investigation about the submissions that we are going to do for for the one line suggestion. So before we go to that, I would like to check the code. So we'll give a 1 minute for the Visual Studio to load, Visual VS Code to load. So here you can see that I have VS Code added. So let's look at the code. In this code, we are looking at, so there's a new version of VS Code. So we'll close this one, and we don't want to see the working tree at the moment. So right now when we go to the page, we have goal suggestions. So one line suggestion, we are passing this one here. Actually, editable form, financial form, right? So we can look at that one. So we have the editable financial history, and once we do that, we are not editable, we are going to do the finance form. This form we are going to give the advice, so we are going to go and get the advice when we are submitting the form. So we go here, go to definition. Within this function, which is in the suggestions.ts, we will have the I submitted this financial data, please give me one line financial suggestion based on this, and the simple language, and then we are using the turbo user, and we are content is the input, and we are getting the response from the message content. Then we are getting the response from the prompt that we are sending to GPT 3.5 turbo, and then we are saving that. So for now, when we are going to update the finance, we can try this step one out, and let's submit this. And before we do that, let's look at the console. Do we have any problem with the console? So here the console is empty at the moment, and then we submit the button. So you can see, we can see the long term, we can see the short term, and then we got the one line GPT response: focus on increasing your emergency savings and retirement to reach your financial goals faster. So this we have got three now. So we got the long term GPT response, we got the short term GPT response, goals GPT response. This is the ST, short term, long term, goals, and one line. So yeah, we looking at the console, wherever the code is, we are getting the one line GPT response, and we are returning that response back. If we had any error, we would have got that. So now what we do is we go back, and now we have this function. From this function we have the one line, so this becomes one line. So with the payload we pass in the one line suggestion, one line underscore suggestion. So let's see what do have in the database. So when we go to the database, we have the one line suggestion coming on the database. Okay, so it wasn't working that time, but I think now it's working. So we should be good to, we have the one line suggestion. Now we should be good to go to the GPT suggestion, suggestion.tx, and then what we would do is get the one line suggestion for free users, and otherwise we should. So when we go to the UI now, when we go to the UI, let's go to the UI. I am closing this, I don't need this console anymore. Let's go to the UI. So now this is not what we want. This is based on your submitted detailed short term. Then there is a goals. I see short term and long term. So here for free users, one line suggestion. So I'm getting the one line suggestion. So here it's the one line suggestion, and then it's going to be long term, short term, goal suggestion, one line suggestion. So when we do a div, we are going to get the one line suggestion. Before that we go to GPT page. So on GPT page, set one line session. So this may need some change. Here the GPT suggestion page. So Control A, Control C. Let's go to GPT and tell ChatGPT, and we'll make that change. We will want to make the change. So here what we are saying is, given the code, retrieve one line from DB and display for free users. While other suggestions for paid users. So now given the GPT-5, let's see, it's thinking in a better way. So if you can see here, it has the state for one line suggestion along with the other suggestions, and paid also is there. Now when it is going to get the user, get user, and then over here is one line suggestion is loading, is set here. What is taking? It's taking one line suggestion as well. So over here it is saying one line DB. So constant one line DB we'll leave it to one line db. I'm not changing is this one for now, and then it's the toString trim. So we'll leave it to this. Here we are confirming if the user is paid or not, so paid row, and then paid or not, then set one line suggestion. So fallback collapsed is this one. So if the one line db or fallback collapsed, which is the combination of all the three. So here in this one we are saying one line suggestion, so we are saving one line suggestion as either that one line db or fallback. So it's kind of a fallback for ensure your GPT suggestions component renders the one line suggestion prop as simple paragraph is fine. If you want, I can share the minimal update. So right now I think this code may look good, so let's save it. We'll go to the changes. So when we look at this, we are going to fetch include one line suggestion, including one line, get the latest suggestions including one line suggestion. So that makes sense. We have the one line suggestion added here. Then we have a line for one line db, which is going to be the one line suggestion or a empty string. And then number two, we are going to get the fetch paid flag. So for free user, prefer the dedicated one line suggestion from db, fall back to the collapsed version for other fields if it's empty. So here we have the collapsed version, but what we are going to do is if we have the one line db, we use it, otherwise we use the collapsed version. And then below, I think that's pretty much it. Free user GPT suggestion. And then I'm going to commit and sync. Okay, so now that we have committed, let's look at the build. Within 30 seconds we should be able to have it deployed to production. In the meantime, what we can do is we can go to users, and we can have the we can go to users and we can have the setup look do. So gap is got is false, it's a free user, so we can check that one. The deployment is ready. Now if I refresh this page, okay, this looks good. Focus on increasing your emergency saving and retirement component to reach your financial goals faster. Now let's change it and make him a paid user. So when we do that, the GPT suggestion changes into short term, long term, and goal. Then again, now I come and I make it false. I make him a free user. So after doing that, it becomes a short one. So we have now updated the GPT suggestion successfully. Now this one, show or not show GPT suggestions is an option we can choose, or receive weekly email digest, receive monthly. So this receive monthly email report, this is something we would want to keep only for for the paid users. So let's see how I can filter this one out. Receive monthly email report. I can see on the preference page. We go to the preference page, we have this checkboxes, monthly digest. So this one I want to see should be visible, monthly email digest, and then that is going to be the checkbox associated with that. Monthly email report, receive monthly email report. Okay, so let's Control A, Control C, and we'll go to GPT and update this page. So on the when we go to the GPT, we can tell GPT, given the code, make given the code only allow paid users to check/uncheck checkbox. So this is going to be a change in the preference page. Now in the preference page, we are loading preferences for the user ID, and then we are going to see it's a paid flag or not based on the user ID. And if it is a paid row, then we are going to set the value for paid, and then we will save only current state. So on conflict, so in this case what it is done is, here weekly digest is there, and here in this checkbox it is saying disabled if not paid. So it is disabled if the user is a free user, otherwise it is enabled over here. So let's copy this. Looks like this code is satisfactory for us to go ahead and utilize in our application. So what we do is we save it here, we'll wait for the updates. In the update we have a is paid state variable saving mechanism. Then we load the preferences. In here we have the paid, so whichever user is paid user is true, that one we are going to get the paid status, and then is set is paid is going to be the paid value of paid user. And then we are going to upsert in which monthly digest, we are going to save that. And then on the UI side, this graph type is there, it has become multi-line instead of single line. And then below, the if it is disabled, this checkbox is disabled if the user is free user, and then I would say premium feature, and then I would save the preferences. So I think this looks good. Disable monthly email setting for free user, and then I'm going to commit and sync. Now once this is done, we are going to the deployment. For now at least we don't see anything, everybody is able to make any changes. We are past 30 seconds. Let's refresh. Okay, 30 seconds. So now I can refresh because I'm a free user. So here my checkbox is disabled. Whatever the value is in the preferences monthly digest, I'm going to make it false for all the users. Okay, for all the users monthly digest is false, and on the UI, if this is disabled, I cannot uncheck because this is a premium feature. So when I hover the mouse on it, I get a premium feature tooltip mentioning that I need to. And then if I go to the user and make him a true, make him a paid user, I can come to this one and that premium feature goes away. I can check and uncheck the box. So again I'll go back and make it false, and now if you look at it, it becomes a disabled and a premium feature. So yeah, that way we are able to update the preferences. Now submit feedback. Now submit feedback, I would want to, before I go to submit feedback, this is the page where we are able to submit feature, bug and security reports and save it as a feedback table. But I wouldn't want this submit feedback button option available for free users at all. So let's see how I can completely disable the submit feedback. Let's see. We can ask ChatGPT. From the sidebar, remove feedback page link for free users and keep for paid users. And what I can do is I can provide the sidebar. This is going to be the it should be in the components. It's called sidebar. So sidebar layout, and let's take this and paste it here and then paste it here. So let's see what it says. Paid only. So this one is going to be paid only, and paid only, and then so we'll see what changes. Let's copy this part. For now we have the sidebar here. So added paid only true for the feedback nav item, added is paid state, and fetched paid user from Superbase, filter out paid only items for free users. So now there are links that are paid only. Let's see what we have it in the code. It looks good by the definition of it. Let's replace it and see what's happening here. So in this layout we use effect and then Superbase client, we have got it, and then here we have the feedback, which is going to be paid only feature is equal to true, and is paid is going to be saved in the state Superbase client is used, and then we are going to set is paid is equal to false, and then user paid user, we are going to save it to is paid. If it is going to be if we are getting a value then for that user, then we are going to save it is paid. and then we are going to come down, and then over here this is going to be multi-line, this is going to be multi-line, so not a problem. Nav items becomes visible nav items from index, and we are going to see what happens here. So based on what we saw in the changes, it looks like it has filtered out the nav items based on your status. So filtered out feedback page. So let's see, what do we have? Commit and sync. We have the feedback page, and let's see what we get after that. So now, for now, we don't see any problem with the feedback page. We are seeing the feedback page for my free user. So let's see, we'll be deploying in 30 seconds. Okay, so deployment is done. So for now, let me refresh. So this is my free user. I do not see the feedback page for this user. Let me go to the paid user and make him a paid user, and he's become true. Now let me refresh, and I do see the feedback page over here, submit feedback. Again, going back to the false free user, let me look at the UI. No feedback page. Okay, this is what we want, and I think that's working for this feature as well. About page, we don't make any change. We are not, this is for the users benefit. And here Gaurav Palande, I think that one is also user benefit. Now comes the monthly digest. So the monthly digest that we have, weekly and the monthly digest, I would want to change the GPT suggestion. So if you look at the send digest, the short term, long term, and goal tip, and then and that one comes from the get latest. This one get long term, short term, and goal tip, and then same applies to this one also. Even in this one, we have the short term, long term, and goal tip. So what I would do is I would just make it like simple one line suggestion. So we'll copy this code, command A, command C, and what I'll do is ask ChatGPT, given the code, provide one line suggestion for the user while all other paid user. So you can see in the history, we are going to get the submission for every user, total income, we are getting that, history, CSV. Now this one became this one line, latest one line, and then So this one is the latest. So there is a if else if user dot paid user, that if the user is paid user then we have this, otherwise we have this. Then when you go to the in the section AI tip gets this. Mm, then suggestion HTML becomes this one, otherwise suggestion HTML becomes this one. And then we are passing in the CSV content, and then so here it says HTML content. This is the HTML content, and here suggestion HTML is saved over here. Okay, so we can copy this. I don't know if it's going to save it in the database. We don't have a table for send email, so let me see what changes it's doing here. And now we can go here. So there is few error messages. Let's see, await Supabase. So why would it start with start? I would copy the whole thing. So let's do it here. So this is how you can change. So I would say change the whole file. This was just relevant content, so let me change. We'll wait for the whole content to be delivered. This change and another change, and then we should be good. Okay, so we copy and we paste it here. So that has made the change visible for us. Now over here we have some changes. Single quotes is okay. Get users who opt in for the weekly digest. So here then error fetching became log console.log. Page matching is including paid flags, so we would have the paid flag here, and then that saved under the user, and then error messages multi-line. Then here we would convert to CSV is added here, and it is saved here. Now we are going to loop through the users and send digest. We are going to get the history. If we have any issues with history, that becomes multi-line. Now here we have the chart logic, and we would do a slice reverse, and then we would do it. That's a bar chart, right? Okay, and then we would do income expense bar chart, and then instead of the CSV we have the suggestions logic here. That is going to be short term, long term, and goal suggestion. And then if he's a paid user, so there should be if statement. If the user is a paid user, then we have all the three. If he's a not a paid user, then we would just have a simple this one, and then HTML content gets the suggestion HTML included there, and we would add the CSV here into the message, and then we would have a error 500 email logs. So what we would do is in the email logs, metadata becomes this. So we are going to insert in the email logs. So let me see the let me do this. Copy, and then create, give create table code for Supabase DB for so we have the create table, and then indexes are also created, so we can just copy this and we can see we can paste it in the database for us. So let's go to the SQL editor and paste it over here. Create table, public email logs, run. When we run this, it should successfully no rows success and no rows returned. So we have a user ID, email text, status which is a text, metadata JSON binary object, and timestamp, and then we have the index or email log user ID and this. Okay, so we have created a table. So now when we go to here email logs, we have a data is publicly accessible by API and RSL is disabled. So okay, unrestricted. So let's this table, I don't think the user has any access to it in any way, so we can have it internal. Because this is internal, we can keep it unrestricted. We do not put a row level security on it, because this is just for later on for analytical purposes. Even if there is some mistakes or anything wrong with it, we wouldn't be too much worried about it. So let's see what we have done here. Okay, I think the changes here look something we can do. Updated weekly digest suggestion. So we can commit this one. Once this works, we can quickly make the similar changes to the monthly digest. So let's go to the deployment. Go to the table users, and for both of them, for this preferences, I'm gonna make both of them weekly digest and monthly digest as true. So false, false. And now my user starts with a E and ends with a DB. So preferences, user ID becomes E and ends with a DB, and both of them become true. And then now I'm going to, once that now the deployment is done, now I can run the cron job, weekly cron job, with my user as a free user. So let's run the weekly cron job. So here we go, settings, cron job, and we run the weekly cron job. So let's run it, and then let's go to the logs. Only one email should be here. In the meantime, I can open my emails. Okay, I can see my email, but I haven't checked the email. Let's go down. Focus on increasing your emergency and contributions. Okay, so this one looks like it has been sent to me, and I can now update my user to true, and I'm going to send the cron job again. I'm going to run it. It's again going to, and I'm going to check if I get an email or not. Yeah, I got an email. So let me go and see the next one. The next one has short-term, long-term, and AI. This one does not have it. So I think if you concentrate on the AI tip, I think that makes sense. Now we can make a similar change on the we can make a similar change for the weekly. So one more observation I am looking at is this one. Attach CSV only for paid users, and I agree with it. For now, I think that can be a premium feature, and we can at this point. Let's see. Let's make that change in our code. Let's bring in this. Let's see what changes we are seeing in the git commit, and here we have the paid user logic. This becomes a helper, convert to CSV. Now this submission, we are checking the entries within here. We remove the CSV logic, and now we're looking into the suggestions. Now HTML suggestion HTML becomes either a combination of all, or it just becomes one single line from the database, and we add it to the email. And then layer here we attach an email or not based on the paid user. And then we have the attachments, and yeah, I think this is paid user changes for monthly digest. this one is going to go across and commit it. So now we'll have it deployed. "30 seconds." Once that is done, we can see in the database. For the preferences, I have set true for both of them. In the users, I'm going to be a free user. So let's see when the deployment is done. So now I'm going to send the emails. So settings, cron jobs, run monthly report, and I'm going to view it. And I got the email, so let me confirm. I can see the email, one more email coming in. This one is with this one is the monthly one. So it has that single line. So let's change this to the monthly one. And now I'm going to change my user to paid user, and I'm going to run the job again. I should be seeing a separate email. Yeah, I got the email, so let's confirm that. This one has the short term, long term, and AI tip, and also the attachment with it. So I think, yeah, that kind of makes our changes based on the premium users. So I think I like this one. So at this point of time, we can stop. We can go back to Pennywize, and we can stop over here. And I think for now is that in the next video we can think about segregating the features into free and paid features. For now, I think this change is good enough. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Please don't forget to visit the website, become a paid user, give your feedbacks, and also if you want to stay free, you can stay free. And also view the YouTube series, this YouTube series, and you like and subscribe so that I can be encouraged to go ahead and make more videos about this application. Thank you so much for your time. Bye bye.